Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The final game in this most epic series to date. Here in South Dakota, we are live for Game 7. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. Boy, what an exciting time here to be an FBA fan.
You're definitely right there, Marcus, as we enter our second 7-game series in a row for the FBA Finals after last year's long and arduous run ending in 7. We find ourselves here back again. Thankfully, not a blowout like some people have been predicting. I mean, how the season had gone to start, most people, I think, were expecting possibly the Voodoo to struggle here, only going 47-33 in the season compared to Dakota's 57-23 record, despite losing their point guard for a whole month. I think a lot of analysts had predicted Dakota to win this in 4 or 5. So I am glad for the fact that the FBA fans have gotten to enjoy 6 great games and hopefully a 7th here tonight.
And yes, and honestly, this is a little bit of a deja vu for a certain polecat as well. And speaking of the polecat, holy moly, what a night he had at Game 6. Quite clearly the best game that he had in this entire series, and perhaps the entirety of this playoffs.
No doubt there. I mean, 36 points put up, 15 rebounds. He led the way for the Voodoo. And I mean, can't help but talk about the Game 6 as a whole. 274 points put up on the board. My throat was dying after having to commentate after every shot that was made. I felt like we might see a 150 to 150 point game if they had kept going at that pace, and thank goodness they did not go to overtime, because I don't think the scoreboard could have kept up.
Oh yeah, I would have to agree with you right here. Just the fact that even though that Dakota had an excruciating slow start in the first half, the second half was just a totally different story, and especially during the middle of the fourth quarter, where they were able to catch things up and pick up the pace offensively. And I have to say, when it comes to Matthew having once again one of those tale of two halves type of scenarios for the night, he's been able to really finishing off strong, but unfortunately they weren't able to get it done. Trying to finally get their first lead ever in the game turns out not being the case, and now they're going to have to see if they can answer in Game 7.
Yes, however, Dakota has been best at home, as has the Voodoo been best at home. And speaking of stats, I think we need to talk about, like you said, the tale of two halves between these teams. Who has been consistent and who has struggled in their wins and losses?
Yeah, I would have to agree. And when it comes down to it, with Kim finally being able to get these rhythms these past few games, really showing how much of a threat he can be, both offensively and a little bit defensively as well. Him coming off with a 30-point game as well, it's just, man, I am really, really excited to see what he can do next going up against Matthew Sylvius. That'll be a very interesting matchup coming in.
Yeah, I'm just going to break down the stats here. Derek Kim, with his 30-point game yesterday, brought up his average points per game in wins to 28.3, leading the way for the Voodoo. However, Sterling not too far behind him, averaging 26.7 points per game when the Voodoo end up winning. The big key stat I see, though, is their field goal percentages. Kim, even though with the wins, his field goal percentage is only 44.9%. His three-pointer is 46.9, a much more reasonable, in fact, upper level in terms of three-point percentage. But Sterling averaging 51%. We see an unfortunate dive for Kim when we look at the losses, averaging only 36.7% from the field and 28% from beyond the arc. Sterling, however, has remained consistent, shooting 52% even in their losses. It's just his point total drops down to 12.3 as he's not finding his way to the line and he's not getting fed as much in the post.
I think also we need to bring up with going back to just the Game 6 and how he was able to figure out Derby. Right now, he seemed like a thorn in Derby's side throughout the entirety. Derby being able to get fouled out during that game, I'm sure that right now that he is in the Deer's head.
Yes, I mean, the fact that slowly over the past 6 games, Derby has started to struggle more and more with this foul trouble. That is perhaps the way that the Voodoo stand the best chance of winning this game 7, because the the Big Deer has been consistent no matter win or loss. One of the highest field goal percentage players on the court, period. Even in the losses, averaging 16.3 points with a 57% field goal percentage. However, in the wins, he even steps up to a higher height with 61% field goal percentage and averaging 24.3 points a game. If you can remove him off the court for even half the time that he's normally on, you might salvage 5 or 6 points right there with his replacement not able to produce at that level.
I will have to agree. And once again, we should probably bring up probably the X factor of this entire game. Really, it's been the X factor for the series entirely is the bench play between the two teams. Now, of course, with Dakota, we have seen in the early going of this series that it has been the Achilles heel for this team. But in these past two games, they've stepped up. And it's been really clear of them being able to work together and being able to really show what they can do offensively. Especially with Samantha, she has actually been very consistent. Last game, she also had 11 points and I believe 8 rebounds in that game. So again, this is one of those key moments of the bench really being able to produce what they need to do.
Yeah, and Samantha definitely having to step up last game with Derby being forced off the court and with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, forcing her to come on and average a lot more time. I think that was her highest minute game so far this series, and she has definitely been the more consistent bench player in their losses. However, for the Bikers to win, my eyes are on Rooney and Jalen. Both of them stepping up, being a factor when it comes to the wins. Jalen actually averaging 7.7 points in their wins, being a strong replacement and actually matching up well at times against Reinhardt and even Lee when he's on the floor. It's just he's been inconsistent, and that's not too surprising considering he is a rookie in the finals for the first time ever.
Yes, and going on the other side of the bench, I think it's pretty clear the one Fred that they really need to stop that's coming off the bench, and that's Andreas. Andreas last game, 17 points coming off the bench. That is honestly a little bit unheard of when it comes to that, but really he is showing up on these in this entirety of this series. He has been a very solid piece for them.
No doubt, and he has coming off the bench and shooting threes has been perfect for the Voodoo, as at times they've struggled with Kim and Kusick being a little inconsistent there with their three-point shooting. They've been able to rely on Vilka coming off the bench and actually igniting some runs with his long-range shooting. Another player that has been very consistent off the bench, even though in the losses his field goal percentage has taken a dive below the 40% mark. He's still putting up the points when needed. It's when he's on fire, shooting above 50% and dishing the ball out, because he has been the second leading assist player, and at times in their wins actually leading the Voodoo with assists at 8.7 assists per game. Unbelievable, because he is able to be that much of a threat on the perimeter to take away the attention for the rest of the Voodoo players on the court and finding open spots. The second-year player definitely stepping up despite being replaced by Casper this year. Probably the, if I could say, sixth fur of this series.
Yeah, I would have to agree. With the fact that he has really pretty much been the major spark, they're going to have to do a lot to stop him on the Dakota side. And really, I think the most interesting matchup that he's going to have with is going to be with Lawyer. I believe that he has, at times, been able to pretty much, uh, excuse me, he has been able to control Lawyer at least somewhat throughout the series.
Yes, very much so, and that the rotation you're talking about matchup wise is perhaps the Voodoo's most dangerous rotation of Kim at point and Vilka at shooting guard. Having Vilka play off the ball as a second point guard is a bit of a challenge for someone like Lawyer because now he's having to deal with someone who can actually dribble the ball and drive past him to the paint and deadly off the screen. We can't forget about that. Him coming off a double screen from Sterling and Lee or Craig. Lawyer can't fight through all that fur to get to the perimeter quick enough, and that's where Dakota is going to have to up its game on the switching off of screens and getting a paw in the face. And you're obviously talking about the most interesting matchup. I think the most lopsided matchup that Vilka has been beneficial of is playing against Rooney. Rooney having to play off of him just to stop him from driving has allowed him to take three-point shots uncontested at times. And because of that, his three-point percentage against Rooney is through the roof. So they might need to switch that up there.
Yes, Ronnie, even though the fact that he is known for a lot of his scrappiness on defense, it can only do so much comparing him to other point guards in general. It's a very clear size difference. So him going up against Andreas and point to point is going to be very difficult for him, and he's going to need a ton of help, which could be pretty dastardly if they get Kusick coming off for shooting guard position, because he has been also really, really hot, especially lately in the series.
Yes, and actually, we need to keep an eye out. It's possible the Voodoo might go a little sinister and put a three-guard rotation in here with three, especially if Sterling is as hot as he was last night. If they have three-point shooters on the floor, the Dakota defense is going to have no idea what to do if it starts to go, because they can't commit to a three perimeter defense with Sterling down low in the post. So Casper, Vilka, and Kim, those three for the Voodoo, the Bikers have to figure out a rotation. And I think the worst case scenario we might see is Lawyer and Sylvius have to play more minutes to try and stop those two, and three even.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. Another thing that probably have to look out for is Jalen Rose himself. He has played pretty well late in the series too, but when things go into the deep dive where you might have to go ahead and play against Sterling, it's going to be another clear. I wouldn't say a clear disadvantage, but you can already see that he can get overwhelmed at times going up against the Cat.
That he can. I mean, I think most of the Dakota players get overwhelmed by Sterling. Derby's been the only one to really be able to even make a dent in containing him. Samantha, I think she had one block on him, and oh my God, did you just have a hiccup there?
No, it's okay. I kind of bumped into my mic.
Okay, I thought you were dying on the floor.
No, I didn't fall. It's okay. I'm still alive.
Okay, but no, back to that. Samantha has had one or two moments of brilliance in stopping Sterling, but as we saw yesterday, when Sterling is without Derby matched up against him, he just took over and finished this. Almost got a 40-point game going yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, even with Derby getting fouled out, that was a huge, huge loss. I mean, I have give credit to Samantha where credit is due. She did play well in Game 6, but sometimes you can only do so much against Sterling. Sterling can really get in your face, and he'll let you know when he's in your face.
Yeah, I mean, doing well is one thing, but when you do well against someone doing great, it doesn't really matter in the end. Especially when the game is that close, that is the difference maker there. Dakota needed great against great to stand a chance last night, and they need that tonight, especially if Sterling comes in as hot as he is. And honestly, I think we need to address the giant weasel in the room. Sylvius has disappeared at times looking at his stats between the losses and the wins. It's honestly been a tale of two weasels.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one, especially in these late games, even when he's on the winning side. He has been struggling in the first half of these games lately, and that's something you really don't want to see. when you're coming in to the into a game seven. And also, you like to point out is the fact that 5 out of the 6 games, Biloxi has been winning the first quarter, and
Yep.
they won't. Sometimes they won't be able to catch up to that in these very long gaps that they have to find a way to fill. And sometimes they fill it too little, too late, as we've seen in both Game 6 and Game 4.
Yeah, like you point out, the Voodoo, even in game one, it was a 1 point lead, and it took Dakota coming out on fire with a 40-point second quarter to really pull away and deny the Voodoo any chance to catch up. But even game five, the Voodoo were up by 5 at the half, and had they not gone cold in the third quarter, they possibly would have stolen on the road, and we would have seen the series end at BLV last night. They won 3 of the 4 quarters. They only lost the third quarter that night by 21 points. The Voodoo could not buy a basket, and the Dakota defense just was too much to overpower them.
Yep.
And for listeners at home, let's talk about the stats for why we're saying Silvius has disappeared. In the games they win, he's shooting 24 points a game, averaging 63% from beyond the arc, on fire, second only to Lawyer, averaging 64.5%, and he's shooting 52% from the field. In the losses, he's shooting 28% from the three-point line and 36 from the field. That is a
Yeah, that
huge difference.
Oh, it's a very huge difference, and also it just goes to show um, how scary it is. Biloxi is able to be at home, and their defense really going on lockdown when it comes to him specifically, having to pretty much show that it's pretty much showing that if they shut one down, they're gonna have to rely on another for when it's talking about the Lawyer, who has been a little bit more of the consistent of the two, but his last game wasn't really as good as the team would hope. I believe he only shot 40% from the field from three in the last game.
Yeah, and you can maybe it's fatigue starting to set in because, as you said, he has been the one they've gone to, along with Derby, when the going gets tough. He was shooting the same amount every game, and obviously his field goal percentage also has taken a 10% dive every time that Dakota has lost compared to his normal when they win. He has been the most consistent and leading the team in scoring in both wins and losses. However, that again, another stat to look at with Silvius, his assists go up when they're losing because he's passing more to Lawyer. So if he's not hitting his shot, he's having to dish it out more to keep the game going.
Yeah, I will have to agree with that. And then once again, pretty much just screams the amazing defense that they were able to have against these two players. And with the 10% die that they have on the road, it just shows how well of an oiled machine the Biloxi is on defense. It even though they have struggled in the first two games at Dakota, they really try to drill it at home. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be at home in Game 7. We're in
No,
Dakota.
we
We are
are.
in Dakota. So for Biloxi, in order for them to really win, they have to do what they were doing without the crowd on their side, because they're probably going to be the most loudest and rowdiest crowd that we're probably going to see yet this year.
I, no doubt about that. I mean, they are one game away here. And just another thing to look at, BLV has only won a game if they scored over 120 points. That just shows how much they have relied on flat out outscoring Dakota. Dakota has only dropped below 100 once in this series, and that was in game. No, I take it back. Sorry, the Bikers have never scored less than 100 points in this series. So the Voodoo have got to outscore them. Period. If they want to win.
Yeah, right now I feel like the magic number for Biloxi, honestly, they might have to go 120. They might have to go near. They might have to score around what they have scored in Game 6. Now that's going to be a very tall task against this Dakota squad. considering the fact that with Derby, hopefully that they are hoping that Derby will not be in that sort of foul trouble again, because we all know Derby. He really isn't known to draw as many fouls as possible this year. But if he actually plays a clean game, Blocks is in trouble.
Yeah, and you mentioning the fact he doesn't foul much. I think it's not so much on him. It's more that Sterling and others initiating the contact, because no matter how well he plays, if he jumps up and the opponent bumps into him a certain way, he's going to get flagged every time. So he just needs to have more help on defense. Mishima can come over and take more of the fouls off of him, because Mishima can, if he, especially if Derby starts getting foul trouble, the Bikers might just have to sub him out and go with a really heavy offensive defense. Get a little bit more back to their classic rough and tough, and have Samantha and Tanner come in and act more like a literal wall, drawing fouls just to stop them.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you here. Um, Man, I think that like since this is game 7, that we should probably have a little bit of fun and maybe just throw some predictions out there. Who do you think will probably be the main player? Will be the X factor? What player will be the X factor for this game?
My X factor will be Sterling, because it's a twofold X factor. Sterling on offense can put pressure on Derby and knock him out. That will be worth its weight in gold. The icing on the cake will be how he does on offense. If he can put up another, even 30-point game, he doesn't need to score 36. I think if he puts up 30, that is the key number. 30 points and they win. Or if he can get enough foul trouble on Derby to foul him out with more than 10 minutes left in the game, BLV wins.
All right, I think for me, when it comes to X factors, I probably will have to say Sylvius. Sylvius has, as we've said before, has really struggled a little bit when it comes to shooting this late in the series. So right now, Dakota might have to rely on him to do quite a bit of scoring here in order to really try and keep ahead of Biloxi. They really need to win the first quarter if they want to have a solid shot. They can't keep trying to chase behind, because it has worked a couple of times, but it's not going to work this time, especially with this high of stakes, because you don't want to pretty much give it 120% in the second quarter, because that'll tire everyone out. So I really think that Matthew Sylvius needs to be able to get a couple of shots out there more, be able to get more comfortable on the early going, and of course still continue to dish out the dimes that he usually does. And if he's able to do that, I do think Dakota will be able to get this game.
Yeah, that's definitely that's the X factor probably for Dakota. Talking back to the last two road games he's played, going 1 for 8 in game 4, struggling, and even then going 1 for 8, only managed to put up 6 successful shots in the second half, finishing below 30% field goal percentage. He had a bit of a better game in game 6, obviously finishing at 50% field goal percentage, but he started 1 for 4 there. So really, again, it's going to be a question of if he plays like he does in the second half to start, the Voodoo are in serious trouble. However, if they start to see him missing shots, they're just going to have a smile on their maws looking at possibly their wonderful championship trophy being delivered to them.
Yes, on the court of Dakota, I'm sure that that'll be a really bad taste in Dakota fans' mouths.
It definitely would be, and this would be obviously the Biloxi's 4th championship here. First in almost 3 decades. They're coming up on that anniversary in 3 years, so to pull one in before the 3rd decade comes to a close would be huge. And for the Bikers, they themselves, the fans, possibly feeling a bit spoiled here, as they are looking for their 7th and the 5th within the last 2 decades.
Oh, man, yeah, the excitement right now is really, really in the air. Just the tension and the drama that's going to be coming into this, because last game was pretty. I would have to say it was a little bit of a grinder, but right now we are here in this moment, and I'm ready to get things started.
Yeah, and I think the players are ready to get started too as they're going to head onto the court.
That we are, and we are getting ready for this final tip-off. The past 6 game has been all Biloxi. We'll see if that changes here in Game 7.
Both players missing up.
Well, finally, for the first time, and whoa, what a nice dunk from Derby. Way to pop things up, but they actually were able to get the first possession, the first time ever in this series. We'll see if that be able to bring it up, but there, Kim has the ball. There's a nice screen there from Reinhardt. He goes for 3, and it's in and out.
So I'd like to point out to the fans as they change the camera there, neither player touched the ball. They both fell for the ref's pump fake as he tipped it up.
Yep, and Silvius gets it intercepted as Biloxi is able to try and make it 3, not being able to make it there. But that was a very interesting way to start the game, I should say.
I've seen that less than I've seen a bricked free throw, as Redfield going to start off with a basket as well.
Yeah, right now Dakota up early 4-0 as Kim passes to Feckle.
As Silvius getting intercepted early is not a good sign as well, with his first turnover already in the first minute of the game.
Yep. Right now Feckle just waiting for a man to get open. There's Kim going for the 3 on the arc, and it's good. So right now Kim cutting it back down to 1 with that nice 3. And Silvius passes it to Lawyer. Lawyer taking it to Mishima as he passes it to Silvius in the paint, but he gets blocked by Banksing. But Derby was able to pick it up and try to lay it in and gets the foul on Sterling.
Yeah, already struggling early here, but then again driving to the paint with Sterling there. Not surprised to get blocked from behind, and thankfully Sterling wasn't called with the foul there. It's actually going to go to Kim, and he hasn't really had foul issues, so taking the foul for Sterling almost in a sense.
This is Derby being able to make the first. Dakota has a chance to get up by 3 in this early going. As we said before, they have to be able to do a lot offensively in the first quarter. This could be a do or die for this team.
Yeah, Dakota is 1 for 1 when they've led at the end of the first quarter, but that statistic there is a little bit misleading considering the sample size.
And we Derby is able to make the second as Kim brings it down the court. Kim passes it to Cusick. We're now seeing a lot of passing on the perimeter as Kim goes for the corner 3, not being able to make it this time. Derby has the board. Silvius bringing it up. And Silvius with a nice dish, but it gets blocked. Nice defense once again by Biloxi as Kim trying to make this tie game. Not being able to do it there, though.
The BLV defense right now keeping it close with 2 back-to-back blocks.
Yeah, but it's Kim not having a good start, being 1 for 4. Silvius getting a screen, got it wide open for 3. Excellent setup there on the Dakota side.
Yeah, but Kim being wide open as he was, especially how hot of a hand he had last night, he will keep shooting that until he finds his stroke. Even though, watch out for Sterling down low in the post if he starts to struggle more, as he goes for another 3, this time good.
Yeah, Kim being able to go through that double screen and getting open. Very nice as Silvius passes it to Lawyer. Right now he's taking his time trying to survey the field. We get to see Dylan trying to get it up but not being able to loosen his man. Passes it to Mishima this time. And right now we got less than 5 seconds on the shot clock as Silvius throws it up and no good. Right now they're playing a little bit of game of chess on that possession as Cusick passes it to Feckle. Feckle going over to Banksting. Right now, we're seeing a lot of passing the perimeter as Kim tried to get to her drive, but passes to Feckle, which is wide open for three. And right now, we are tied 9-all.
Yeah, wide open Feckle. She has also been a bit of a mixed bag tonight. As we're going to see a foul from Kim blocking. That's his second now. But Feckle at times, and they're actually going to go ahead and sub out Vilka just to keep Kim out of foul trouble here. And not too bad of a substitution to come off the bench, honestly. Vilka probably even a better matchup against Silvius due to his height, even being a little taller than the Weasel.
Yeah, but right now, Lawyer playing a little bit of point. He passes to Silver, who is wide open, being able to make it with easy. That's just a practice three right there.
Yeah, I take it back. He was nowhere near his defensive mark, so maybe he thought he was the shooting guard coming on the floor.
Yeah, right now, Andreas taking time. He tried to put it up for a jumper, but not being able to make it this time. Silvius running it down as he passes it to Redfield, but Redfield passes it back to him. He's giving it up to Laurier. Laurier going beyond the arc, and he's good there. So a couple of nice threes from Dakota as they're up 15-9. Right now, Andreas. Letting the play go right now. He might find open Kusick, but Kusick being guarded well. He passes to Feckle, going over to right here. Nice passing as Kusick goes for the three, and he makes it rain. Right now, we're seeing a lot of perimeter shots going on for both teams. As Redfield. I believe he was trying to pass it up to Derby, but he wasn't able to get to his man, so he threw it away. So that's turnover on Dakota.
Yeah, another early turnover here. Giving BLV a chance to possibly tie it up here with a quick three as Lawyer goes for a steal.
And right now, Kusick is having a pretty good series for these past couple of games. Reinhardt gets blocked there. And Sylvia's bringing it up to Lawyer. And he tried to pass it to Sylvia's, but Sylvia's paws were on the line. So it's going to be another unforced turnover on Dakota. So they can't be able to make those type of mistakes in Game 7. They might be a little bit rattled.
Yeah, and that may have just been a loss of where he was on the court. He was trying to tread the sideline as Vilka going to drive it in. Fouled by Sylvius now.
And that'll be his first personal as Andreas gets to go on the line for two. He's able to make his first one. And right now, Biloxi has a chance to bring the deficit down to 1. Very close game so far.
Yeah, so far been the turnovers of Dakota that is keeping the Voodoo in. And obviously their excellent defense. They had 2 blocks early, and Derby finally answering back with one of his own on Reinhardt.
Yeah, but of course, Andreas makes his second, so it's 15-14 in the middle of the first quarter. Right now we're hearing a lot of the fans being loud as possible with Redfield on the point. And right now he passes up to Sylvius. Sylvius with 7 seconds left on the shot clock. And he passes to Derby. Derby trying to make the shot, but it gets blocked by Sterling.
That's his second tonight.
Yeah, Sterling keeping the defense up as Feckle draws the foul. It'll be Redfield's first.
Yeah.
So,
I'll say it's going to be interesting in the next 2 minutes to see how Dakota answers here, because this is usually around the time they start subbing in their bench.
Right now we get, and Biloxi's actually have a chance to take their first lead here tonight. As Feckle goes for the first. And it rattles home. And it looks like we're not going to get any substitutions this time. Looks like they're trying to keep their starters within it. Since it is Game 7, they want to make sure to have some type of edge for both sides. As Feckle goes for the second free throw.
Yeah, but fatigue, and we don't want to repeat of last Game 7, so please keep your players healthy.
Yeah, I will have to agree with you there. As Sylvius is able to bring it down.
BOV with the
Matt.
first lead now, realizing.
Yep, and Matt going over to Lawyer. Lawyer to Mishima. Right now trying to see if he can get Sylvia's open, which he does a little bit. He gets the 3 ball, and Dakota back up by 2.
And now the Voodoo going to take their first time out as they watch a 3 drain over Vilka's head. Sylvia's going to have to adjust now to Vilka on the floor with that height differential. I mean, Kim is under 6 feet at 5'10", but Vilka actually standing as tall as Lawyer at 6'6". A bit of a different kind of defender to have to play against.
Yeah, but I will have to say that he has had a great start in this first quarter. 3 for 5, which is something that you really want to see from Sylvius.
Yeah, I believe 3 from 4 from beyond the arc. His one missed shot from down low being blocked from behind by Sterling, who we can't ignore here with his second block already in 6 minutes. Standing out on defense is the Polecat.
And yeah, that's pretty much what he's really known for. Being the defensive player of the year this year, he's going to be really needed in order to steal a win on the road and be able to bring that championship back down to Biloxi.
Yeah, if that happens, I think Sterling will refuse to fly back and instead ride a party bus the whole way back to Biloxi.
I wouldn't be surprised knowing his shenanigans.
His theatrics.
And right now, Andreas passes it to Kusa, goes for a long 2, and he rattles it in, tying this game up 18 apiece. Right now, Redfield with the rock. And he's, again, trying to pass it over to, I think, Derby. And once again, another unforced turnover. That'll be the 3rd one for tonight. They have to be able to play a little bit more clean. Because they are doing well offensively, and they're giving away possessions like that is not something you want as Kusick has the rock. Right now, Kusick being defended by Lawyer. He passes up to Andreas. Andreas going for that 3, and he makes it look clean. As Biloxi, once again, up by 3.
Yeah, that's what he does. Coming off the bench, he is basically a microwave, only taking 1 shot to really get going here. Redfield answering back.
Yeah, Redfield with a nice 17-footer. Cutting the deficit within 1. As Andreas passes up to Kusick. And right now, Reinhardt almost having it taken away, but he'll be able to draw the foul on Mishima. And he goes in the line for 2.
Little hook shot there, no risk of being blocked, but does draw the contact, so he'll take that.
Yep. As Reinhardt being able to go for the first one. And it hits his side of the rim. Reinhardt.
Sorry, I was going to say unusual miss for BOV as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, Lady Luck, sometimes we'll have to lower it down a little bit, considering the fact that they only missed 1 free throw throughout the entire Game 6. So...
That's their one for the night.
And he's able to rattle in the second as Biloxi's up by 2 this time. And right now, here we are seeing the bench of Dakota. Hopefully they'll be able to make some type of noise. As we had to see Sam passing it to Lawyer. Lawyer going over to Fulton. Fulton passing it to Lawyer. Gets a nice dish as the Cat drives it down with the lay-in.
Yeah, great give and go there. Fulton keeping an eye on him as he started to move after the pass. I don't even think he looked at the ball when he caught it.
Yeah, but right now we get to see Parsons. Loses the ball, gets stolen by Lawyer. Might have a chance for a fast break here, and he will be able to get the and one in Parsons with his first personal.
Lawyer going coast to coast there, taking it himself, and first the steal, and then Parsons with the foul on him. Double whammy.
And right now, Reinhardt getting subbed in for Mosley, and Redfield getting subbed in for Poitier. And here comes John, being able to extend the lead back to 3. and he's able to make it in. Dakota doing fairly well on offense in the first quarter. Something that you really like to see if you're a Bikers fan. It's Parsons. Taking his time. Gets a nice screen there from Butler. Good. Not being able to get the switch done. And right now he has less than 5 seconds on the shot clock. Has to do something there. He just shoots it up. And it hits the back of the rim. And Poitier bringing it up. Might get a fast break here, but goes for the free throw shot, but no good. Rose tries to lay it up and not be able to get a second chance points. Vilka deciding not to take the 3 there. And right now we might see Vilka being open on the other side, but he passes it to Mosley. Mosley laying it up. No good, but he draws the foul on Samantha. And I think that's her second personal for the game.
I believe first, actually. That is the 4th team foul for Dakota, though. So BLV getting it done down low in the post, drawing contact, however. You know, it's been spread across multiple Dakota players.
And Mosley is not able to make the first one, going in and out of the rim.
Okay, that's their second. I guess I'm about to count down all their misses because last game's 29 for 30 was unusual by far. That's not the norm for any FBA team.
Sometimes Lady Luck can be on your side, as Mosley was able to make the second. So now they're only down by 2, 25-23, with 3:30 left on the first quarter. Lawyer passes it to Rose. Rose going to Poitier, going over to Fulton. Lots of passing going for Dakota. And right now the triangle of passes still continues. Someone has to make a shot as Poitier goes for a desperation 3, and it hits the side of the rim. They got to prevent from being able to do things like that. And right now we get to see a pass from Parsons, and Lawyer tries to save it, and it pretty much ended up being a bad move. It really wasn't necessary for Lawyer to do that.
Yeah, again, costly mistakes keep the Voodoo in it as they're tied at 25 apiece now.
Yeah, right now Rose trying to dish into the paint, but instead getting some passes going. And we get to see Samantha passing to Poitier. And right now we see Lawyer going for a 3, and he makes it. Nice clean look for Lawyer as he's perfect from the field and be able to make both of his 3-pointers for the night.
Well, perfect in the sense of shooting. He has committed a few turnovers as Mosley gets the offensive rebound and the foul. Now it's Samantha's second personal.
Yeah, right now we're going to see a lot of fouls being drawn as we get to see Mosley once again going to the line for 2, hopefully to cut the deficit to 1.
If he makes them. We jinxed him earlier.
Now he able to make the first one. And Lawyer gets subbed out for Allen. So now we have the full bench of Dakota in. And I think as well the same can be said for the Voodoo. And Mosley misses the second one. So right now, Fulton has the rock and passes it to Allen. And Allen for 3, not being able to make it there. And right now, Butler going for a mid-ranger. Not being able to make it, but Mosley get a chance to lay it up and in. Nice chance for second chance points as Biloxi is tying it back up to 28.
Great pump fake there. Samantha bit hard on it, and Mosley just had to turn around. Might as well have just dunked it, considering how open he was after that successful pump fake.
Yeah, but right now, Rose passing it out to Fulton. A lot of dishing, once again, between Rose and Rose trying to do something, and he tried to lay it up, and he makes it in. A little bit of a desperation shot there, but luckily he was able to get the swish.
Yeah, shooting with his right paw there, a little dangerous actually on the side of the defender. Would have expected him to take a left-handed hook shot, but still converted the bucket.
And right now, Mosley, get to see Vilka, who is wide open. Not being able to make it, though. And once again, taking advantage of Fulton getting such an open look. Fulton passing it over to Samantha. Right now getting a lot of passing again on the Dakota side. As Samantha passes to Fulton, but it gets blocked by Andreas. And I believe one of the Voodoo were trying to save it once more, but Rose is able to pick it up and lay it in.
Yeah, two Voodoo players were almost diving for it there and just left everyone open. Is Vilka going to answer back with a quick layup of his own?
Yeah, and making the Raccoon look silly there.
Well, this is an interesting situation. That quick shot does allow the Voodoo a chance for the last shot of the game, as the Bikers have a 7-second differential in the shot clock.
And right now, Samantha passing it over to Fulton. Puts it back to Samantha. And Allen being able to get into the paint and laying it in.
Yeah, and it looks like the Bikers will win this quarter unless the Voodoo pull off a successful steal here, even though a shot and a foul. Another chance for two from the line.
And that'll be Allen's first personal, as Mosley once again happened to go to the line for two. Hopefully he'll be able to make both of them. He has been
a little shaky.
A little bit.
I mean, his shots aren't clean as Sterling. Sterling pretty much swishes them every time, and Mosley's have bounced off the rim a couple times.
And he was able to make the first one, so the deficit is now within 3. See Parsons and Butler getting subbed in for Nutton and Sokolovic. And Poitier gets in for Hayes. And Tanner being subbed in as well. And it looks like that we're going to end the half there as Allen just throws it up, trying to make some kind of half-court heave, but not be able to make it. But right now, the Bikers able to win the first quarter. We haven't really seen them win the first quarter since, I think, game 1 of the series.
No, game 2. Game 1 was the Voodoo by 1.
Yep. But still, it's been a while since we've seen that first quarter. That could mean a lot, getting that momentum going, as Nutton has the rock as he passes over to Kim. Kim taking his time. Might go for a long 3. Not being able to make it there. Being guarded by Allen. And Sylvius passes it over to Allen. Allen going over to Hayes. And Hayes loses the ball, but he's able to get it back. And he gets the foul drawn. Bengstein with, I believe, his first personal. The first one being able to rattle it home. Right now, Hayes, he has been fairly quiet, again, with not having a lot of minutes in this series, but having some nice free throws that can help extend this lead to 5.
Well, I don't know if you can call it a lead. It's barely been a cushion as both teams back and forth. Voodoo have had the lead a couple times here tonight and have tied it up as well, but the Bikers unable to build any kind of actual cushion.
And right now, Nutton with the rock, passing up to Kim. Kim trying to get a screen going, but not being able to get it, and he tried to pass it up, but Allen was able to get the ball after someone had their paws on it, and Allen gets a chance to rattle it home. Allen doing fairly well coming off the bench.
Yeah, the Bikers bench being consistent tonight is going to be key.
All right, now Kim passes it back to Nutton. And Bengstein gets a chance to go for a jumper, but not being able to convert. Hayes passes it up to Allen, who gives it over to Sylvius. Sylvius tried to dish it to Derby. He had it tipped away by Sterling, but was able to caress it back and be able to draw the foul. So he gets to go to the line for 2.
Yeah, and that's Sterling's second. If he manages to get a third here in the next minute or two, we might see him benched and see a reverse situation of what happened to Derby last game.
Yep, as Evans getting subbed in for Feckle, as Derby was able to swish in the second one.
I believe Feckle's being subbed in, not other way around.
Yeah. As Dakota's up by 9, having a little bit of a cushion, being up by 3 possessions. And Sterling going over to Feckle. And Feckle getting it intercepted by Poitier. Oh, Hayes, excuse me, as Lawyer gets the rock. Lawyer passing up to Sylvius. Sylvius for three. No good there.
Yeah,
And
Tanner
Bang Sing gets the
almost able to
board.
get the offensive rebound as well after his steal earlier.
And it's Kim going for a deep three, and he makes it. So right now, Biloxi will be down by 6. As Kim having a little bit of a slow night so far. Pat hands it over to Redfield. Redfield going over to Sylvius. Sylvius going for the free throw shot, and he makes it.
I'll say Kim is only shot from three-point land, and 3 for 7 is not bad, but he needs to get going elsewhere.
Yeah, and right now we get to see a turnover there. I believe that was Nutton who lost the ball. Laurier trying to lay it up, and it's in. Nice fast breaks points for Dakota, and they are up by 10.
And no shock there, the Voodoo have to call timeout.
Yeah, right now Biloxi having a little bit of struggling coming out as Dakota is able to make a nice run.
Yeah, and like I said, it's off the back of, but now it's the Voodoo turning it over here.
Yep, and Kusik is coming off. It's coming out. It's back into the game. Kusik has Kim wide open for three. It rattles it away. That's something you would want to hope that he would make it with such an open shot as Kim. As we had to see Sylvia's passing it up to an alley-oop to Derby as Dakota now up by 12.
Derby getting a little fancy there, spinning around and catching the ball and slamming it in with one hand reverse.
Yeah, it's something that you would see out of an all-star game. That's Kim with the rock. Showing it up, but he misses. And right now we see Sylvius turning it over as he caught the ball, but his paws were once again out of bounds.
Maybe not expecting the ball to be sent his way that quickly, as I can't tell who passed it to him right there, but it was very quick after the rebound.
Yeah, Voodoo catching a little bit of a break as Feckle just catches it and shoots it, but not being able to convert, getting another chance. So Sylvius bringing it up. Redfield passing it up to Sylvius, and Sylvius gets a nice mid-range shot, making it in, putting it up by 14. Sylvius doing a lot of shooting right now, being able to convert. Feckle passing it to Bang Zing. Bang Zing going over to Kusik. Kusik back to Feckle. And Kim wide open for three, and he's able to drill it.
Yeah, 4 for 9 now from three-point land. Sounds about right.
Now. Yeah, Kim right now just starting to heat up a little bit as Sylvius passes to Mishima, and Mishima is able to draw the foul on Reinhardt, and Reinhardt clearly upset on that.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say there wasn't really too much contact there, but a little grave on the arm was just enough to draw the contact.
Yeah, and Mishima will gladly take an opportunity to help Dakota cross this 50-point mark here.
He's able to make the first. Right now, Dakota is really on its way to might be going to a 70-point half, which is something that we have seen them do before in this series.
Both teams, in fact. The Voodoo, if they can catch fire, can still catch up. But down by 13 here is the largest lead of the game for the Bikers. See if the Voodoo can do anything about it.
And right now, Kusik might be looking to get some noise. And right now, we get a nice foul from Mishima. I think Mishima was trying to
get a charge there.
Trying to get a charge, but not being able to get it. And
his paws weren't set.
Yep, Reinhardt passing it up to Bang Sing. Bang Sing trying to throw a dish into the paint, but it gets tipped and stolen by Mishima. So right now, see Lawyer wide open for three, and he makes it rain. So right now, the fast break points are climbing up as Kim almost losing the ball there. And Kim passing up to Kusik. Kusik going for a long two, and he's able to drill it. The co-rookie of the year, showing his strut. Right now, Sylvius passes up to Lawyer. Lawyer handing over to Derby. Derby tried to pass it to Sylvius in the paint, but it gets stolen. And Kusick bringing it up and trying to make a 2, but no good there. Derby had the rebound. And Derby already close to a double-double, as we get to see a putback from Mishima, but not able to make it, but another chance for Dakota.
Yeah, he missed his dunk there, and it rattled off the back iron, and Derby, good presence of mind to dive out of bounds and tip it back to a Dakota player.
Yep, and Sylvius passes it to Derby. Derby has a wide open lane to slam it home.
Showing the Tanuki how it's done.
And you're going to see another timeout by Biloxi. Biloxi struggling to find an answer here.
Yeah, and part of it has been the offensive rebounds of Dakota. They've been letting them get away with it. They had 2 that possession alone, so the Voodoo might make a change up here and bring in some more height. But actually, they're going to give their players a little rest, it seems, as they're going to both teams, Derby being subbed out after that huge slam, though.
And right now, Butler trying to bring it up on Samantha, but he passes back up to Parsons. Parsons going to Reinhardt. Reinhardt goes for a tough jump shot, but not be able. As Redfield has the rock as he passes to Samantha. Samantha trying to dish it to Sylvius, but it gets tipped out of bounds.
Well, at least it was tipped and not thrown away. They'll retain possession, but only 11 seconds on the shot clock.
And it's Feckel getting subbed in for Mosley. And Lawyer going for a deep 3. No good there. And Butler letting the offense getting set up. Kim passes it to Mosley. And Mosley was able to draw the foul. Right now, the Bigs of Biloxi is playing around with Samantha a little bit. She keeps biting it every time.
I was going to say, I think that's her 3rd foul from Mosley alone.
Yeah, and Mosley was able to make the first one. I wouldn't be surprised if Samantha gets benched here. No, she won't be, as Sylvius gets subbed out for Fulton.
Yeah, they'll let Derby rest and keep him off the floor just to avoid him getting into foul trouble. They can afford for Samantha to foul out. They can't afford for Derby.
Mosley was able to hit both of them this time. And right now we get to see Fulton charging it up as he passes it to Lawyer. Lawyer going over to Samantha. Samantha going to Redfield. Redfield heading up to Fulton. Redfield being a tough jump shot. Wasn't able to make it this time. And Kim has a chance for some fast breaks. And he passes it to Parsons. And Parsons laying it up and in. So right now Biloxi is down by 12. 55-43 with less than 5 minutes left of the half. Right now Mika going for that fadeaway, not being able to make it there. It's Kim going along the perimeter. He's made the pass, able to get passed by Rooney, and I believe he was heading over to Mosley trying to lay it up, but he fouled. And it looked like it's going to be on Lawyer, and Lawyer is right now furious on that call.
Yeah, and again, Mosley finding his way to the line here. It's been a Voodoo player different each game. First it was Reinhardt game 1, Sterling last game, and now Mosley getting a lot of fouls on the drives. And Kim definitely starting to exercise his speed advantage over Rooney as he's been driving to the paint. Maybe not taking the shot, but willing to dish it to someone else who's open as the defense collapses.
Yeah, I mean, Mosley was able to make the first as Rose coming in for Redfield, it looks like. And Kim also being subbed out for Andreas. And right now, Mosley was able to miss that one. So right now, Dakota is up by 11 and could be able to now up by 13. Nice slamming from the rookie Rose. top 10 pick, showing his talent.
Well, it was a nice drive, too. Ball handling, not something he's normally done, but drives past the defender and gets open.
And right now, Vilka has a very good advantage. He passes it over to Mosley, and Mosley lays it home. Right now, Fulton passing it up to Lawyer. Lawyer getting Mishima. Mishima back passes it to Rose, and Rose going over to Fulton. Rose passes it back to Lawyer. And right now, Samantha has to make some moves. Instead, try to pass it over to Fulton, but it gets easily intercepted by Andreas. The Orca not being able to have a lot of power to that pass. It's Butler laying it up, but no good. Rose with the board.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a trajectory that she could have thrown that would have made it to Fulton and not been intercepted by Vilka. Too much height difference there.
And right now, Samantha passing it to Rose, who tried to slam it home, but Rose acting a little bit too cute, and we get to hear a little bit of boo birds there from the crowd.
Well, that's the second dunk they've seen missed tonight. As Vilka gets the advantage in the post and lays it up and in. Back to 9-point deficit for BLV. 1 digit.
Yeah, Biloxi slowly bringing this game back as Ronnie passes it up to Rose. Rose going over to Samantha. Samantha passing it to Lawyer. Now we're seeing a lot of passing once again. As Rose going over to lots of passing. Someone's got to do something. Samantha going for a tough jumper, but not being able to make it. But we get to see Mishima tipping it up and in.
Yeah, the Bikers just hoping for one of the Voodoo to bite on a pass and get an open man, but the Voodoo are disciplined tonight.
We're going to have to be, especially only down by 11, as we get to see Andreas not being able to make the mid-range shot. Fulton passing up to Mishima. Mishima going over to Fulton. Fulton going to Rose. Seeing quite a bit of passing here as Mishima hands it off to Rose, who passes it up to Samantha. Samantha tried to go into the paint, but instead dishes it out to Fulton, who goes for a three, not being able to make it as Mosley gets the board.
Yeah, Samantha bullied her way all the way to the post, and Butler's going to go for a quick three. Is no good.
Yeah, I believe that Samantha probably should have taken the chance to finish it. As you get to see Rose with the rock. He passes it to Mishima, going over to Lawyer. Lawyer being guarded heavily by Parsons. We get to see Samantha. He's trying to lay it up, but she gets fouled by Mosley, and Mosley can't.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lawyer's been on the floor a long time. Has he been benched at all? I know he was benched in the first quarter for a little bit as Allen came in, but Lawyer really racking up the minutes here is going to surely start to get fatigued soon.
Yeah, you can already tell that he's a little bit tired with his paws on his waist. But Samantha being able to make the first. And we are seeing a lot of subbing, and we do get to see Lawyer getting some chance to get some rest.
Yeah, a minute or two before the end of the first half here is no good for Samantha.
Yeah, right now Dakota is up by 12, so they have a pretty decent lead. Right now we get to see Sokolovic passing it deep to Andreas. Andreas going in for the mid-range, but not being able to.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, I don't think Dakota's going to cross that 70 mark like you were projecting earlier. They've slowed down here.
Yeah, right now, but they have done very well offensively, being able to have 60 points, maybe a little bit more before the half ends. As Fulton passes it to Allen. Allen for three, not being able to make it as it hits the side of the rim. Right now, we're going to see Andreas being able to just go right by the Raccoon as he slams it down. Right now, Ronnie passing it up to Allen. Allen going over to Samantha. Samantha putting up in the mid-range and misses it. And right now, Sokolovic passes it up to Vilka. Vilka taking his time. Right now, he does have the mismatch advantage on this ISO. Right now he's taking his time, going for the deep three, and he gets blocked by Samantha, and he wasn't able to make the second attempt.
Oh, that mismatch didn't utilize the speed advantage he had and got blocked hard. She put both paws in the air.
Yeah, she was making sure that that was not going to go anywhere. And right now we get to see some excellent play from the Bikers. Bikers 51% on field goal percentage in this first half.
And Lawyer leading the way with 16 points, it looks like, as we'll take a moment here to read over the stats for the box score so far, and I am correct. Lawyer, 16, 6 for 8, 3 for 5 from beyond the arc. Mishima, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. And Lawyer, of course, also with his 4 assists and 2 steals, doing it on defense as well. Sylvius, 13 points, 5 for 8, just slightly behind Lawyer in regards to efficiency, and 4 assists coming out from him, but 2 costly turnovers. And Derby finishes the first half with a double-double, only shooting 4 times from the field, but getting 2 fouls drawn. Has given him free throws from the line, 4 of which he's made. 1 block as well for him. And Redfield, 4 points, 2 assists, and a rebound, shooting 66%. And Rooney not doing so well with 0 for 2 so far. Looking at Samantha, 1.4 rebounds, 1 block, 1 assist. Rose, 3 for 5, 6 points, 5 rebounds, however, a missed dunk costly. Allen, 4 points, 1 assist. Poitier missing his 2 shots so far, but has pulled in an assist and a rebound. Hayes, 2 points, but all coming from the free throw line. And Tanner, 2 steals in only 3 minutes. Absolute danger down low in the post with those big paws. Heading on over to the Voodoo, Craig Reinhardt struggling a bit with only 1 point, but getting it done with blocks and steals as well. Sterling 0 for 1 tonight so far, not been much of a factor, but 3 rebounds and 2 blocks on defense has made his presence felt there. Vilka 11 points, 3 rebounds. Beckel 5 points and 3 assists. Kusick 7 points, 3 for 5, and Kim 4 for 9. Almost all of his shots coming from beyond the arc with 12 points and 3 assists as well. Kusick shooting okay, but not getting as many shots off as we'd probably like to see. Vilka, coming off the bench, actually more than Kim due to foul trouble, has almost matched them in terms of scoring. And the real stat to look at here is Mosley, 10 points, 6 of 10 from the free throw line. Parsons, 2 for 3, 4 points and 1 rebound. Sokolovich and Newton haven't done anything coming off the bench, as Evans, 3 rebounds, but hasn't taken a shot either. Looking like they switched up who started tonight, with Craig having a better night the past couple games. And Butler has taken 4 shots but missed every single one of them.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle on the Voodoo side. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do try to find a way to get some answers here.
Yeah, and it's going to come from the rookie, I think. Kusick, he's been shooting well, but he's been a little too selective in his shots. And we're going to see Kusick actually taking point here. Might be a bit of a change-up as he passes over to Kim, who had the screen. Now matched up against Derby. That leaves Feckel open off the screen for 3 is no good as Derby pulls down the defensive rebound. And we'll see that the Bikers going in transition here, giving it up to Redfield. Back to Sylvius at the top of the arc. Going to drive a bit as he lays it up for Derby, but Sterling just jumps up and pulls it down with his long arm. And Kim in transition, no good, but Kusick flies out with the offensive rebound as Redfield smacks it out of bounds off the putback.
Yeah, Redfield not really having it. I did see him tweet earlier in the day that he did not want this Game 7, and he is showing it here.
Yeah, and Kusick, though, good effort to come flying in and basically bullying the Bikers out of the way for that offensive rebound. Sad that he couldn't get the second chance points there, but they have a chance here. And Sterling going to take point now as Kim looking like he wants it off a screen for 3. It is good. He is making it from beyond the arc. That's his fifth now, actually. Yes, that's correct. 5th three-pointer. Only place he's actually made a bucket is from beyond the arc. His 1 field goal attempt was blocked. And he gets a steal here, fast break opportunity. Slows it down, though, over to Feckel from the left sideline. She missed it from earlier, but she makes it now, and the Voodoo are back within 4.
Yeah, and just like that, after a couple of threes, the momentum has switched.
Turnovers being the big problem again for the Bikers as they give it to Sylvius in the post. No good. I don't know if it was blocked or just missed, but it did not touch the rim. Sterling came flying in there to try and get a paw on it. Speckle, is she feeling it from beyond the arc? No good, but Sterling wide open for offensive rebound, and the putback is Sylvia's forced to foul there. Sterling going to head back to the line now for two, his first of the night.
Yeah, Sterling taking a nice size advantage as Sylvie was all by himself in the post there.
Yeah, the switch over to Feckle, you could tell the bikers were trying to get two paws in her face, but Sterling just waltzed his way by them, and he was the only one around for that rebound. Good on the first and good on the second. He has been automatic from the free throw line this whole series. Lawyer going to take point now. Passing around the Sylvius, who dishes it low to Mishima in the paint. Four bikers were on the perimeter and had stretched the defense quite far. Their three-point success tonight helping out the post game.
Yeah, it just shows how excellent with a lot of good passing and a hot streak on the perimeter just goes to show how much it's important to have.
Yeah, it opens the post wide open as Kim now going to take a shot from top of the arc is no good as the shot clock was winding down. Not much more they could do to develop the play, but Sylvius in transition, no good from the right sideline, was wide open. And Redfield would have loved to get the assist there, but back to BLV. Back down the Reinhardt, who slams it down off the screen. That's a 10-2 run in the first 2 minutes of this quarter.
Yeah, the Voodoo just pretty much just put it on up down as we see Derby passing up to Redfield.
Yeah, it looks like they wanted to go for a quick play off of Sylvius' drive, but no good. But Sylvius for three, that's his second miss down in a row. The Voodoo, if they get a three here, they could take the first lead in a long time. Down the Sterling for two is good over Derby. We have a tie game here after the Bikers giving up a 10-point lead here early.
Yeah, it just goes to show how they weren't really as prepared for the Voodoo.
To make adjustments. No, they were not. And Kim now going to get the steal. Derby reverse layup off the assist. The Bikers should call timeout here as they have let them score 14 points almost unanswered.
And it looks like they won't be doing that. Right, a little bit gutsy here. They're trying to find some kind of momentum offensively because they have had a nice slump. They're going to have to find a way to get back into this.
Sylvia's going to try and do it for three. He finally makes one after missing two in a row. He's had 4 for 7 tonight. That's his 16th point, only scoring 13 in the first half. Sterling now getting a little more active. That might be the adjustment they made at the half. He'll go to the line for two once again.
Yeah, but luckily here, this is Derby's first personal of the game. So it's not as big of a worry when it comes to Derby.
Fouling out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Considering one foul and they have only 20 minutes left to go, they're going to have to be super aggressive to really risk him getting in trouble here.
Right now we get to see Butler coming in.
And Mishima subbed out for Tanner. The Bikers going with height now with the Zebra on the floor for the Tanuki. As BLV again answers back with the 2 free throws to take the lead by 1 here. And Lawyer gonna take point at the top of the arc, and it looks like they might be setting up for a double screen for Sylvius again. And they will inside the arc for 2. Rattles around, no good.
Yeah, right now it just seems like Sylvius is doing a little bit of struggling. We see 20% from the field as we can see Biloxi with the 3 from the rookie.
Yeah, he took a couple threes earlier, and now Casper, I think that's his second one tonight, second or third actually, because he had only made 3 buckets before that one. And Derby for long, 2 is no good. Sterling not even bothering to guard him. He was only a hair's breadth from the 3-point line there.
Yeah, everybody in the crowd already know that was not his range. Probably should have taken the time to drive it at least.
And Cam going for 3. He is catching on fire now. 22-5 run in the last 4 minutes. Bikers,
they're going to have to call timeout here.
Call timeout, please, coach. I know this is your first time in the finals, but goodness, Sylvia's going to go for 2. Over Kim is good. But still.
They're able to get an answer, but I will have to say that they might have to timeout if they get another bucket here.
I mean, the Voodoo, just some magic going on here as they've taken the lead, and Kasper Kusik, one-on-one, is getting the better of Lawyer.
Yeah, right now I think Lawyer is showing a lot of fatigue right now. He did play a majority of the second quarter.
Yes, it looks like we're going to see Lawyer possibly getting the ball from deep three. Decide not to go, but he is matched up against him. And Silvius, top of the arc, is good, but no, it will not be a three-pointer. They're only going to mark it for two. It looks like his paws were on the line. The Voodoo up 5 here. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. The momentum is all in their favor after the second half has started. And Lawyer tipping the ball, but Feckle gets it back.
Yeah, nice effort on the defense from the Meerkat.
And Silvius pokes it loose, but Sterling gets it back and had to take the shot there. And Derby now, his second in 2 minutes. And we'll see some substitutions coming out now.
Yeah, we're going to have to see some substitutions here because Dakota right now being a little bit overwhelmed. Even though in that last possession, they were able to be tight on the defense, and Biloxi was able to escape to go for at least 2 free points.
Yeah, and again with Sterling at the line, you might as well just count every single one as automatic here. As Lawyer going to sit down, maybe get some rest as Silvius is going to slide over the shooting guard. And he's good on the second as well. Up by 7 here.
Yeah, it's pretty much a very different story than how we ended the first half.
Yeah, we have to keep an eye out if Voodoo keep on pace. They may crack 150 as Silvius calling for the screen from Derby is good. He is going to keep him in this with a 4-point deficit here. He struggled a little earlier in the start of the second half, but now he's 2 for 4 from beyond the arc and already put up 10 points. Evans with the ball, giving it back to Feckle. Watch out for Kim. And then we're going to a lazy pass to Kim, actually. I don't think that was his intended target, but it's going to work as he calls for a screen. Matched up against Derby now. Pump fakes and blocked by Derby. And shot clock violation as Sterling was able to corral the block shot, but Kim, you could see, did not want to take that shot.
Well, I mean, it's better for them to get a shot clock violation than someone stealing it and going for like an easy, fast-paced dunk.
Yeah, can we just appreciate the size disadvantage there? He faced a 5'10" guy against a 7'3". I can see why he really was hesitant to take that shot. That would have been perfect if he had a drive to the lane, but now Hayes with the ball. Silvius also sat now to get a chance to rest. We'll see more of the bench out for Dakotas. 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Allen for 2. No good.
Yeah, it just seems like they were a little bit overwhelmed by the defense on Biloxi.
Yeah, now with Vilka back on the floor, he started off hot, and actually we're going to see a foul from Fulton rather than defending him on the drive, tried to stop it with a steal. And actually it looks like they're going to make some substitutions already.
Yep, Sylvia's coming back in, and also Samantha as well.
Yeah, perhaps just wanted to get a word out to him as Samantha getting the block here early. Back to Silvius now. Down low to Samantha, who is wide open. Going to lay it in. Dakota down by 2 here.
Yeah, Mosley was coming down the transition way too late, and it really cost them there. Dakota back only down by 2. Once again, it's real close.
Yeah, and keep an eye on for Vilka for 3 here. Or he's going to pass it down, but Samantha worth her weight in gold right now. She gets another turnover. No good on the shot from Hayes, though. Can't tie it up here. Newton with the ball. The veteran, as we see BLV at 22-point run to start off, but now a scoring drought has evened it out. Dakota making the transition, but Vilka laying it up and in and blocked by, I believe, Samantha again. That's her second now.
Yeah, right there, Andreas once again just showing how much of an advantage he has over the small raccoon. But thank goodness he had the help there. As Sylvia lays it up, not being able to make it, but he will go on the line for 2 as Parson gets a draw for the foul.
Yeah, he'll go to the line for 2 here, but he's also struggled at times from the free throw line. The big story right now in the last couple minutes has been Samantha catching on fire on defense, coming off the bench here. Chance to tie it up. Good on the first. We'll see Hayes sub down. Redfield coming back on the floor. The second one, good as well. We have a tied game here. But with the bench on the floor now, the Voodoo, the team that, the players that led the charge are sitting on the bench. So the Bikers have a chance here. Is Silvius going to be whistled for his third on a reach-in call, and that will actually send Scott to the line for 2.
Yeah, Biloxi now in the bonus. So any foul can really much send a player straight to the line.
Yeah, and the Voodoo probably going to enjoy that considering how well they've shot outside of Mosley from there.
And of course, as soon as,
As I say that,
it's the side of the rim. It's the side of the rim.
Yeah, Caster's curse is a thing, unfortunately. The Otter not happy with his miss.
Missing them both this time.
Yeah, very surprising. Not his usual, not the usual for BLV as a whole. It's like Silvius off the screen. Gonna step back for 2. Long range, no good, as Noonan's gonna get the rebound.
I think Mosley had a paw on it.
Possibly, or at least enough pressure there. I'm surprised Newton, the veteran, hasn't had much of a factor tonight, but he also gets limited minutes coming off the bench. We're going to see a quick give and go. No good. Dakota, we've watched the scores remain tied for a while now. Is Redfield going to take point? Silvius off the screen. Parsons almost got a paw on it, but the ball does rattle in after bouncing on the rim for a little while. Score finally broken, but we're going to see Evans answer back just as soon as Dakota looks like they might start something. BLV finally finds an open look.
Yeah, right now it seems a little bit of a back and forth. Both defenses showing a little fire.
Fulton no good on his open mid-ranger. And now Newton going to bring it up. He's wide open. He can take a 3 if he wanted to, but does not feel comfortable with the game on the edge here. Wants a better shot than that. And Vilka, the Wolf, losing track of where he was on the right sideline, just slipped out of bounds.
Yeah, I believe he was trying to find a way to get past the Raccoon once again because he had a clear advantage, but this time wasn't paying too much attention of where he was.
Yeah, and speaking of Mosley, he'll be back on the floor now. Keep an eye out if he tries to pressure Samantha. She is at 3 fouls here. And Rose, top of the free throw line, decides not to do anything with it. Over to Sylvia. Sylvia's matched up against Newton right now. Calls for the screen, and Rose gets a little open. Again, a lot of passing as the shot clock is winding down. Fulton takes a fadeaway 3, is no good. Not the shot they want to take.
Yeah, that wasn't something they were looking for. Again, Biloxi just trying to pinch in on the perimeter as Newton laying it up but not being able to make it.
Yeah, as I said, actually trying to step up there, but quick play was no good down low in the post. Too much defense. Both teams, they went from an offensive frenzy to a stifling defense in a hurry here. And Samantha gets her own rebound as she puts it back up and in, and foul by Newton here.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much pure effort there by the Orca. It wasn't really a lot of big players going into the paint, so she just come in and snatch it up and try to throw it up. Would have been nice to get the and one though, but being able to go for 2 is good enough.
Yeah, she'll take what she can. I mean, like you said, Newton was the only one really between her and the basket there, so unless he went all out and jumped as high as he could, and I think we're going to see both teams bringing in their starters as the third quarter is starting to come to a close, and we will see Kim back and Reinhardt and Rose being subbed out for Mishima. The Bikers based on possessions, will have the final shot potentially if both teams take quick shots here, but the Voodoo will probably want to go slow. Even though they're going to pass on the Reinhardt. Reinhardt having to jump really high, and Silvius tips it out of his paws and almost scored a basket with it as offensive rebound by Mosley and fouled on his way up will go to 2 for the line of 2.
Yeah, right now the Bikers have pretty much just stepped it up on defense. Though it almost bit them in the butt there when Silvius trying to tip it up into the air like that. But
yeah, that would have I don't know who they would have counted it for, Silvius or him there, because like I said, that was a very close off the rim. He was going for the steal and perhaps a little too strong on the attempt.
Yeah, but Loxley will really take whatever they can get here, as Mosley was able to get the first one to come down. They have a chance to take a lead here as well.
Yeah, but honestly, we saw the run start for BLV, and I think we've scored maybe 10 points between both teams in the last 5 minutes of this game. He's good. BLV 80. And with the shot clock as it is, if the Vikers take too long, the Voodoo will have an opportunity to end the quarter with the last shot. And Samantha backing down, gets free, gives it to Mishima, who's blocked. Vilka going to take it on a fast break against Silvius. Lays it up and in off the glass. The Voodoo up by 3 as Dakota. Last shot as the game clock, shot clock has been turned off. A 3 here will tie it, but they may very well end this third quarter down.
Yeah, I have to say some excellent defense there by Reinhardt. And, of course, a great effort there on Andreas. He was able to go coast to coast.
But
and wow.
Silvius with the buzzer beater. It rolled around the rim from 3, wide open off the screen. It is good. Dakota, BLV, tied 82 apiece going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much more than anyone can ask for. Starting the fourth quarter, tied up in this game. Great three-pointer there by Silvius, not saying do or die.
Very much so. I mean, again, good screenplay. I think BLV knew who it was going to go to. A little bit shocking that the defense wasn't more prepared for it. As we're going to see Redfield now taking point as both teams. Majority of the starters back on the floor here.
Not surprised considering the fact that we are pretty much on the last quarter for the entire season as Silvius brings it up. Not being able to make it this time.
Yeah, the fadeaway jumper turning around a little bit much, perhaps feeling a little cocky after making that 3 at the buzzer. As Kim giving over to Kusick. Kusick matching up against Lawyer. Going to call for a screen from Lee. A bit of a double team, but fades off as Kim gets open. And good from 17 feet out. Kusick drawing enough of the defense away to allow a screen. And Lawyer now going to take point for the Bikers. Dishing down the derby in the post. Matchup against someone other than Sterling here. Is he going to capitalize? But Lawyer for 3 is good. Takes the lead back for Dakota here.
Yeah, I believe there was a screen that he was able to come off of screen, getting wide open there. And Lawyer having a great game. 7 for 9 so far with 19 points.
Yeah, and that was, again, the presence of Derby enough to make the defense open up as Lee answers back with a layup as well.
Yeah, Lee. We haven't really talked about this during the pregame. He was ejected after 2 flagrants.
In the first,
him having a much cleaner game.
Yeah, after last game, that was a little bit of a trouble for him. As Silvius can get the ball from 3 from the shot that Lawyer took it from is no good. Bikers a chance to extend it here.
Yeah, it seems like Silvius has gone a little bit cold this half.
Well, this quarter as he blocks it from behind. Kim, oh, again, Silvius almost scoring off defense as he hit it towards the rim. And Lawyer for 3 is good. He is not faltering at all here.
Yeah, right now, Lawyer is just doing whatever he can to make sure that Dakota stays ahead, up by 2.
Yeah, but we can't say that BLV won't answer back as they have been consistent. Down to Feckle in the post is good off the glass. Kusick with the assist. tied at 88 apiece.
Yeah, Kusick being able to drive past Lawyer, going over for the open fur, and that was Feckle being able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, we're going to see Redfield top of the arc. Watch Lawyer off the screen. He's going to take a shot from two land. No good, but Derby almost getting the offensive rebound, but Reinhardt able to out-muscle him there in the post. Feckle back to Kusick, her partner in crime so far tonight. Again, he calls for the screen, and Evans open, driving down and slams it over Derby. BLV answers back again, taking the lead here 90-88 with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, both teams is going deep dish right now offensively.
Yeah, and watch for Sylvius. They're calling for a double screen, but not very effective as he not get open, but Derby down low in the post. Back to Mishima. No good. Reinhardt gets the rebound. Derby a little surprised he didn't take the shot himself with how consistent he's been from down low. And tip pass. Trying to pass it to Reinhardt, and Lawyer in transition going for the three. No good, but Mishima!
Oh!
Offensive rebound and the slam dunk. He missed one earlier, but now the crowd is off their seats cheering after that slam dunk.
That was a very, very, very hard dunk there from the Tanuki as Kim goes for three, not being able to make it this time.
Yeah, Lawyer missing his first shot in a while, but Mishima there to clean it up in transition. And now tied at 90 apiece. Mishima going to get the ball. Redfield going to call for a screen on Sylvius. Sylvius for two is blocked. Gets the rebound back to Mishima. Back to Redfield now going for the late second shot. No good. Defense.
Yeah, I think after that, the defense really has to be given the credit there as Kusick gets the miss. Was excellent effort there, and it pretty much cut Dakota on their toes as Lawyer misses his three. But Derby being able to go on the line after being able to get the offensive board.
No, it was a block out of bounds. There was no foul there. I don't know why you aren't screaming at the top of your head for that defensive play. As Evans just smacked it out of the bounds. Thankfully, no fans were in the front row. They don't have the seating that close. And tipped again by Reinhardt. And we're going to see Sterling back on the floor. Again, tied at 90. The defense becoming stifling for both teams. We see a bit of a scoring spurt, but then the defense just answers back and forth as Sylvius pump fakes, but he's left open for three. Makes it in as the defense got a little confused as who was covering him there. That's his 33rd point tonight, 7 for 11 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, quietly he's having a really, really big game, considering.
Well, yeah, his struggles from inside the two-point line, but 7 for 11 from beyond the arc as Kim's going to try and do it with a fadeaway. Two is no good. Over to Lawyer in transition. Makes a three as well as the Splash Furs now give the Bikers a 6-point lead as he 6 for 10 with 25 points himself.
Yeah, right now it's just going to show that once both players get going, it's kind of hard to stop. They need to figure out how to get an answer for both of them as Kim goes for three and rattles it home himself.
This time it's good for Kim. We're seeing a three-point contest suddenly as he has put up 23 points as well. Sylvius down low in the post, giving it to Derby. Derby from just inside the key, no good. He's struggled a bit tonight. His first night of really struggling from anywhere in the series. And Kim, beyond the arc, driving into the post, gets stopped by Sylvius. Kusick could be a threat from beyond the arc, but dishes it to Reinhardt, who's matched up against Mishima. Back to Kusick from the right sideline. No good. Dakota fans breathing a sigh of relief there. Redfield going to take point. This is the most dangerous as Derby almost gets fouled, but giving it to Sylvius. Back to Lawyer, and Redfield a point again. Mishima back to Derby. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Someone's going to have to take the shot here. It's going to be Derby wildly shooting it up and getting the shooter's roll.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a desperation shot from Dakota, the Voodoo. Not letting things go by, making sure that every shot will be a tough one.
Yeah, the defense not, after giving up 2 threes, has adjusted, not letting anyone get open. Is Kusick going to step back for three? No good. Dakota up by 5 here. And
Yeah,
Lawyer
they try to take a bit. Ooh.
I was going to say Lawyer in transition, almost stolen by Kusick, but he just gets a paw on it and it gets sent out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a lucky break there from the Voodoo. Someone was able to see what was going on and be able to tip the ball out of bounds.
Well, lucky break for Dakota considering they actually go and lose it, but they should have had it turned over anyways with that long court pass as the Voodoo. 5 minutes and some change left. We'll get possession again. They want a basket here. They can't afford to miss here and let Dakota break 100 so quickly. Kim gonna get a screen wide open from 2. No good. Again, he's been hot and then cold all night. And Lawyer just gonna go for 3 early in the shot clock is no good. Down low to Sterling. Gets the foul and 1.
Yeah, and here Sterling has a chance to bring the deficit down to only 2.
Yes, as I think he definitely become more of a factor in the second half. I think he's crossed the 10-point mark. Is actually Kim now struggling, going to get subbed out for Vilka. Perhaps a situational matchup here to put a little more defensive pressure on Silvius with a bigger body on him.
Yeah, and plus the fact that Andreas has been a little bit hot as well, and we get to see, I think it was Lawyer who turned it over.
No, Derby turning it over, trying to pass it to
over.
Redfield. And Feckel now. They want a good shot here. They could tie it up back at 98 apiece, but Feckel gets by her man and lays it up with Mishima in her face. 98 apiece. Tie game. Both teams shooting 45% from the floor. Over to Silvius. Right off the screen is good. Not a three-pointer, though.
It was a nice long two is what they needed to pretty much answer back. They have to get a stop here to stop the momentum for the Voodoo.
Yeah, and Silvia's starting to heat up here. And watch out as giving over to Feckel. Feckel has started to catch fire again with her situationally just stepping up when they need them, when they need her to. And Sterling, long two is good. Emulating Silvius there with a long two. Ties it at 100 apiece.
Yeah, right now the Polecat not only showing his ring, being able to do everything he can to make sure that this team does not go down without a fight. As Silvius makes the 3.
Asking Sterling to answer him with one of those, is that's his 25th point in this half alone. He is 9 for 12 from beyond the arc. Down low to Sterling. He'll answer it back with a close shot from 1 foot out. Silvius going to bring it up, give it to Lawyer. Watch out for Silvius. He's going for a fast play from the right sideline off the double screen. Making another 3. Back-to-back 3s for him, and it looks like he just crossed the 40-point mark with that.
Yeah, right now it just seems like it's the battle of the must-leads as this is getting a little pretty too intense.
Yeah, and now we're going to have to see if the Voodoo can answer back with a 3 of their own. Vilka over top, no good off the back iron. Tightly defended by Redfield there as we're going to hand it over to Silvius now. 2 minutes to go. Go for a quick 3. No good as Derby going to put it back up and in. Off the offensive rebound. Silvius not able to make the 3-pointer for 3 in a row, but Derby cleaning it up.
And right now the Voodoo really need to make a nice 3. But instead of going for the long two for Vilka, and he'd be able to make it.
Yes, Vilka off the screen, 104 to 108. Redfield, though, starting to show some fatigue here as he's going to bring it up. The most dangerous in terms of allowing for 3-point shooting with Redfield at the head, but he gives it to Derby now. Back to Redfield. Down to Silvius, but it's intercepted. Bit of a fatigue mistake there as Vilka's going to bring it up for the Voodoo.
Yeah, not a lot of power in that pass either.
Feckel for 3. No good. Close game. Back and forth. Voodoo multiple chances to get open. And Silvius for 3 now. No good. Wide open, but can't make it fall.
Yeah, I can't get mad at giving it to the hottest man right now on the court.
Yeah, but he has to feel the pressure here as the Voodoo are having multiple chances to close this lead. It's not enough of a cushion here with only 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in this final quarter, and Feckel for 3 is no good. Both teams stalling on offense. is Redfield. Going to drive into the paint, giving it to Derby. Again, backing up, almost killing shot clock here. Is it turned over again? Derby making a mistake as Vilka intercepts the pass.
Yeah, right now they're trying to force feed it to the Weasel, but it's going costly. We get to see it and one. Kusick gets a chance for a three-point play as Lawyer draws the foul.
Very costly here. They're going to love that opportunity. With 44 seconds left to go in this quarter, BLV will have the final shot if Dakota does not take one quick here. And they probably should call a timeout with 3 timeouts left for both teams as Lawyer going to take the point.
You might see an isolation play. Nope.
Screen for Silvius, and Silvius also starting to show some fatigue. He's been on the floor for a while now. As Derby back to Silvius. Silvius driving in off the spin move. Double teamed. No good. Sterling going to crowd the misses. The Voodoo might have the last possession here with only a second separating the shot clock. They need a basket to take the lead. Anything will do. 10 seconds left. They need to do something as Casper's going to be the one with the ball. Who will take the final shot, though? As he's trying to drive in. Going for a 3. Fadeaway. No good. Off the iron.
Good.
And they actually go for a foul there, but his shot clock time had expired. The Bikers finish Game 7 by 1. 108-107.
And with that, we now know who our champions are. The Dakota Bikers, and the player of the game, which honestly should come to no surprise here, Matthew Silvey with 41 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists for the game.
Yeah, no surprise there, even though Lawyer could have had it as well with his excellent shooting coming the floor. As we're going to switch over to the stats shortly and look at both teams. And as you said, a heartbreaker. Casper trying to go for the last second shot, not wanting to let the Bikers have any kind of opportunity there to take a shot had he made it.
Yeah, it was definitely a heartbreaker there. So close. But once again, in this league, it's so far for the team in red.
Yeah, as we're going to look at the stats, Lawyer, 25 points, 9 for 15, 6 for 11 from beyond the arc with 9 assists, almost a double-double for him. I think it would have been his first of the series. And Silvius, 41 points, shooting barely above 50% from inside the two-point line, but 9 for 15 from three-point land with 6 assists of his own and a block. Redfield, 4 turnovers, but 6 assists, 4 points and 4 rebounds. Derby, double-double with 14 points, 17 rebounds, 2 blocks, a couple slams to really help them out. Mishima, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal. Samantha, 4 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist and a steal with 3 blocks, getting it done on defense. So we switch on over to the bench. Bolton not getting anything done, 0 for 4. Rose, the rookie, 6 points and 6 rebounds. Tanner, 2 steals. Allen, 4 points, 2 for 6. Nothing from beyond the arc falling for him. Poitier, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 0 for 2 and 0 for 1 from the three-point line. And Hayes, 2 free throws. Not much done from the bench aside from Rose, really, and Samantha. As we're going to move over to the Voodoo from the Bikers. Reinhardt, only 3 points, 4 assists, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Not shooting a ton tonight, nor could he find his way to the line. Maybe fatigue affecting him in Game 7. Beckel, 12 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists, and a steal. 4 for 9 from the field. Kusick, 6 for 13. That heartbreaking missed 3 at the end of the game that would have possibly won it for him as time was winding down. 6 assists for him as well. Sterling stepped up in the second half. 5 for 6 from the floor, 17 points, 8 rebounds. Kim, 23 points, 7 for 15. 15 3-points attempted, trying to match Silvius, and almost did it stride for stride. Vilka, 15 points, 6 for 14, 1 for 4. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals as well. Evans, 6 points, perfect from the floor, 5 rebounds and a block. Parsons, 4 points, 1 rebound. Mosley, 8 of his points coming from the free throw line, shooting 66% from there and 7 rebounds, doing the most for the Voodoo off the bench. Butler, 1 rebound, missed all 4 of his shots, and Sokolovic as well, missing 2, and Newton 0 for 1 with 2 rebounds and a turnover. And moving over to the breakdown for both teams, look at that stat differential, basically tied in field goal percentage.
Yeah, I have to say that both defenses stepped up. I think this is the first time we actually seen both teams under 50% to finish this off.
Yes, and both teams crossing 100. This is, I think, the lowest scoring for the Bikers. No, this is tied for the lowest. They scored 108 in Game 5 to win it at home. The Voodoo, though, unable, again, I guess you could say the magic number was 120 points, but they had the advantage at the free throw line, shooting 28 attempted, 21 made. The Bikers only 15 attempted, but did manage to convert 13 of them. They really standing out from the three-point line and with their second chance opportunities. Even the fast breaks, this was much slower for Dakota. Usually they're up in the 20s or 30s for fast break points. And the points in the paint, both teams under 40, less than half their points coming from inside the post.
Yeah, and going over to the bench, as you said, the bench had again pretty much leaning towards the Voodoo side. The bench was a little bit quiet for Dakota, but it really didn't matter at this point because right now the offense was going through both Sylvius and Lawyer doing what they do best, being noticed as the splash furs. But I have to say, I really feel like that Kim probably should have been at the end of that game.
Well, Kim, yeah, he did struggle from beyond the arc a bit. I think Vilka perhaps should have been the one to take the shot, or even Sterling, get it down low in the post and possibly draw the foul. Because if he had drawn a foul there, he could have at least tied it up for overtime. I don't know if my heart could have handled it, but an overtime game would have been what to shoot for, as Sylvius on that last possession also taking a bit of a risk going for two in the post, but he wanted to probably guarantee at least overtime by forcing them to take a three. So I don't know if I can really blame him, and I guess you could even say Casper taking that three was to prevent the Bikers from really having a chance to get a good shot off and forcing them to take a three had he made it. But in the end, the Bikers will hoist their 7th championship, and the Voodoo will go home. However, with their team set up as it is, they could make another run next year, as I believe majority, if not all their starters, will be retained in this next free agency.
Yeah, it looks like you're right. I think really the biggest, most important player that's heading into free agency right now will have to be Andreas, who I would have to say is pretty much the sixth fur for Biloxi, as he played very, very well throughout the entire series, in all honesty.
Yes, he might very well be commanding a bit of a contract here, as he was kind of replaced by Casper, even though another team seeing this might think he is their starting shooting guard or even point guard going forward. He was not one of the names I think people were talking about in terms of point guards coming out this year, but he might have made a case for himself to be the third best point guard going in the free agency.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. I think a lot of teams who are very key on trying to find a new general to give the keys to for their franchise can possibly be able to get a nice piece from there.
Yeah, and I think we should go ahead and wrap this up, as I'm sure all the Bikers fans are starting to celebrate, and the Bikers themselves are heading to the locker room to celebrate with lots of champagne in all likelihood.
Yeah, you're right on that one.
And I'd like to thank all the fans for tuning in. It's been a wonderful series and a wonderful season. I hope you'll tune in next year. And thank you, Marcus, again for joining me for this wonderful playoff series. I hope you'll join me in the booth next year as well for Sports Dens.
Oh yes, I'm very looking forward to once again teaming up with you.
Yep. And good night, everyone.